Hello guys, welcome to a new video. In this one I'm going to be showing you the process of an illustration that I started way back in October 2017 with the intention of having it done as a print design for MCM London in October. And unfortunately I had too many print designs for the amount of time I had to finish them, and I had to prioritise, and this one kind of got thrown by the wayside. And then later on I realised that I just never actually got around to finishing this one. So just recently I made the decision to make a mini comic about Cinnamon, and it's thanks to my friend Kat and the other guys in the Creative Critters group, you know who you are, and they encouraged me to do a little mini comic about Cinnamon because I was thinking of making a new mini sketchbook for upcoming conventions in my store. But I've done a lot of sketchbook stuff now and I wanted to do something a bit different and kind of challenge myself, and Kat gave me the amazing idea of this little mini comic about Cinnamon, and because I've had quite a lot of interest about Cinnamon I thought it would be fun to try and make the most of that and do something based around him. So hopefully people are looking forward to seeing it. It's definitely a challenge because I haven't done comics for quite a while. I did the original Wired comic quite a few years ago and that had a false start because I started it and then I changed the story. I know I had a lot of people saying you shouldn't have restarted it, but it wasn't just the art, it was the actual story, so I couldn't have carried it on as it was then, because Wired several years ago was basically an entirely different story to Wired as it is now. So anyway, I have now started the new Wired comic, which is an entirely digital comic, whereas the mini comic for Cinnamon is going to be traditional, mixed with digital. But the new Wired comic is in progress. I haven't got anything posted online yet. I've had a lot of people messaging me lately, asking me about my current projects and what they can read and where they can read it. So I'll just kind of update you all here. Okay, so as a rundown of my current projects and what I've got in progress and everything, first off we have Wired, which is a cyberpunk sci-fi story. That's going to be released as a novel. I have a publisher lined up waiting for it, but I'm also going to be releasing that as an online comic and maybe some print comics as well. I haven't decided yet because obviously it's very expensive to print and produce colour comics, so I will see how that goes. I did talk to a local comic shop and they said if I do print it they will be happy to stock it, so that's awesome, but yeah, I don't know what I'm doing with that yet. Then next we have Breakwater, which is more of a sort of teenage oriented young adult story, whereas Wired is more adult. And Breakwater is a fantasy steampunk story about a girl who finds a giant merman trapped within the city, and he's going to be sold off basically to the highest bidder for some nefarious purpose, she doesn't know yet, but yeah, then she takes it upon herself to try and save him. That's what that one's about. And then we have Constellations, which is a space opera, and this is a story basically along the same kind of lines as Outlaw Star, Cowboy Bebop, Firefly, The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, that kind of thing. It's less focused on sort of space warfare and the actual science aspect of things. It's basically sci-fi with its tongue firmly in its cheek. It's not something that takes itself seriously, whereas Wired tends to take itself more seriously as a vision of a dystopian future, whereas Constellations is more just me having fun and writing the story I want to write. Not that I'm not having fun with Wired, but it's not the most cheerful story, I will be honest. Whereas Constellations is more about the relationships between people and between humans and aliens and other creatures and how they can work together to forge a brighter future, whereas Wired is very much a look at a more negative view of how humanity's future could turn out if we keep on going the way we're going. So Constellations is more of an uplifting story. It's about the characters' relationships rather than the world at large. So obviously it's set in space, they travel around space, you see a lot of different planets and stuff, but primarily I wanted it to focus on the relationships between the characters. So Cinnamon obviously is a big part in the story. There's also Fitz, who is a human. His real name is Kieran, but his surname is Fitzpatrick, so everyone calls him Fitz, and he's just given up and he just lets them call him Fitz. His wife is called Fiora, so Fitz and Fiora, they've got used to just sounding silly now. She's half human and half alien. She's partly a member of the Kurai race, which are like a humanoid cat-like race, and so their son is 3/4 human, 1/4 Kurai, but the Kurai genes are more dominant, so he looks more than a quarter Kurai. And so they have this odd little family unit and they live with Cinnamon because they can't afford to live by themselves at the moment with their job situation. And also Danny is very, very ill and their medical bills are costing them a fortune. So they're living with Sin to save money. He is perfectly happy with that. He just loves having his friends around, so that's cool by him. But yeah, then basically bad stuff happens and it all goes to hell, basically. So yeah, they end up all going around the galaxy and loads of crazy things happen. So it's still something that's very much in the air. And there's loads of other characters I've still got to work out. There's loads of aliens. I'm having so much fun designing the alien characters. I'm enjoying that process so much because I love character development and character design. But yeah, there's not a lot I can say, partly because of plot secrets and partly because I have no idea yet. So yeah, that's the basis of Constellations. So this mini comic is just an offshoot. It's not going into any deep storylines. It's just a silly little one-shot that you can read without any prior knowledge. Which is good because there's nothing else of Constellations out on the internet at the moment. So yeah, hopefully people enjoy it. It's just a really silly little comic. It's 24 pages, I think I counted. So it's been an interesting challenge. I've done it in about 3 weeks, which I did not think I could do, to be honest. I thought when I started it, I am mad. And it is now less than 2 weeks till the convention and I haven't sent it to print yet. So fingers crossed, I'm hoping to do the very last of the editing today and send it to print tomorrow. And hopefully I will probably have to order the express shipping to try and make sure it gets here in time. But I know it's been done before. I have loads of amazing artist friends who are still producing work to get done for MCM. So yeah, hopefully I can do it. And yeah, going back to the actual picture, this is something that I dug up again because I was considering what can I use for a cover for this comic, because I've been working on this comic really hard and then I thought, hang on, I need an actual cover. And because I didn't have the time to create something new from scratch, I thought I'm going to have to work with an old illustration. What do I have? Thankfully I've drawn Cinnamon a lot of times, but I wanted something with him on his ship and I was thinking, well, I haven't got anything, and then I realised, hang on, I've got that print that I started for last MCM that I never finished. So I'm very pleased with my past self for starting this drawing, but I'm not so pleased with her for not finishing it. So anyway, I picked it back up, worked on it as quickly as I could. So this is my cell shading, which is a more quick technique. It takes less time, it's less detail, but I figured for a book cover it's not going to be large, so I didn't want to overdo the detail anyway, so hopefully it works out. I really enjoyed the process of working on this. I had fun with like luminosity layers, as you guys know I like my luminosity layers, and I feel that adding the glowing lights on the ship towards the end of the picture really made it pop. If anyone's curious about the wording on the side of the ship, it says CK Aldunian, which is short for Cinnamon's full name, which is Thrinarathi Kaldanrain Aldunian. And that's why everyone calls him Cinnamon, both because he likes food and also because a lot of people have trouble pronouncing his name, bearing in mind that there are a lot of alien species within the novel that have different sort of facial structures and they can't pronounce words in the same way that the humans and the Arinthi can. So yeah, it's just easier for people to call him Cinnamon or Sin or pretty much anything, because he just answers to anything. He's cool with it, he's fine. And the writing on the front of the ship says Skeeter because Fitz commented that it looked a bit like a mosquito, the shape of the ship, and Sin found out that Earth slang for mosquito was a skeeter, and he was like, that's adorable, okay, I'm naming my ship Skeeter, and his employer was like, you're not doing that, and he did it anyway. So yeah, when Sin decides he's going to do something, he just does it. And he has a lot of snacks with him, as you may notice in this picture, because Cinnamon really likes his snacks. He does not necessarily have a healthy diet. He's not very good at regulating his eating habits. He's very bad at it. So he does tend to eat a lot of junk food. He takes a lot of junk food with him on long haul journeys and then comes back with a stomachache and wonders why. And then he doesn't learn from it and does it again. So I wanted to get that in there because that's quite a noticeable aspect of his character, that he's not very good at looking after himself. But yeah, just really wanted to do a nice piece. The original concept of this was just to show his enjoyment and relaxation at looking out into space and just enjoying what he does, because he loves to fly, he loves his job, he just loves getting to meet new people and see new places, and that's all he wants to do. Now originally there was going to be a background in this, like a cityscape or something to show that he was actually planet bound, he wasn't just drifting in space about to die horribly in a vacuum. And then I didn't have time and the perspective of the ship just didn't work with what I was trying to do, so I was like, no, you know what, just forget it. Forget it. Cinnamon is floating in space because Cinnamon does not work with the trappings of the mortal world. He is something else. I don't know what he is, but now he's drifting in space and he's still alive, so there you go. So yeah, that was my solution, was just let's pretend it's all fine. So yeah, that is the finished piece. Hopefully you guys like it. And yeah, the comic, if I get it done in time, is going to be available at London MCM Comic Con. I will be there at Comic Village at table 161 at the Excel Centre in London from 25th to the 27th of May. So hopefully if you are in the area, please do stop by. I would love to meet some of you guys. I'll be doing commissions on the day. I will also have obviously this book hopefully, and some prints and maybe some originals. I don't know yet, I'm still finalising stuff. So yeah, please do stop by if you're going, hope to see you there. And I really hope you like this piece. So thank you as per usual for stopping by to watch this video. I really appreciate your continued support. And thank you for your suggestions on my community tab. For anyone who hasn't seen it, I've been posting some stuff in the community tab now that I've got over 10k, I can use that. And that's just me asking for ideas for future videos. If you ever have any ideas, just throw them my way. I will see what I can do. I have a lot of stuff in progress, please bear with me. I will get to it eventually. I just have a lot of commissions and convention stuff right now. So thank you as always for watching. Really hope to see you next time. Bye!